ISIS, under Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi's ruthless leadership, carved out a terrifying influence, controlling vast swathes of Iraq and Syria by 2014, including major cities like Mosul and Raqqa. Its grip extended beyond territory, wielding a sophisticated propaganda machine that radicalized thousands worldwide through chilling online videos and social media. Baghdadi's bold declaration of a caliphate in 2014 not only galvanized followers but also ignited a bitter rivalry with al-Qaeda, fracturing the global jihadist movement. ISIS came from al-Qaeda in Iraq, and under Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, it became more violent. In 2013, ISIS wanted to control jihad in Syria, which led to fighting with al-Qaeda's branch, Jabhat al-Nusra. Baghdadi declared a caliphate and refused to follow al-Qaeda's orders, causing a split. Al-Qaeda said ISIS was too brutal and that it could turn people away. Al-Qaeda was very unhappy with Zarqawi because he was killing a lot of Muslims. He was engaging in brutally violent, excessive tactics, and he was killing a lot of Shiites. They considered many of his actions to be unproductive, but they didn't stop him. Baghdadi today is the heir of that tradition. He is the heir of that approach, which is completely different from al-Qaeda Central in terms of tactics and strategy. This split made both groups weaker but made ISIS more famous. On a tense morning in Libya's volatile landscape, ISIS militants launched a brazen attack on a checkpoint near Misrata, a strategic coastal city, leaving 3 Misrata militiamen dead and the region on edge. This assault, reported in early 2016, underscored the persistent threat of ISIS in North Africa, even as its territorial grip weakened elsewhere. Libyan sources estimate up to 2,000 ISIS fighters were active in the region at the time, exploiting Libya's post-Gaddafi chaos to establish a foothold. The checkpoint, manned by Misrata's battle-hardened militias, was a critical line of defense against ISIS's expansion toward oil-rich areas and coastal strongholds like Sirte, which the group briefly controlled. The attack unfolded with chilling precision. ISIS fighters, likely trained in guerrilla tactics, struck under cover of darkness, using small arms and possibly improvised explosives to overwhelm the outpost. The 3 fallen militiamen, part of Misrata's formidable anti-ISIS coalition, were hailed as heroes, their sacrifice galvanizing local resolve. This incident highlighted ISIS's shift from territorial control to hit-and-run warfare, a tactic born of necessity, as international airstrikes and ground offensives eroded its so-called caliphate in Iraq and Syria. In Libya, the group capitalized on fractured governance, tribal divisions, and porous borders to smuggle fighters and weapons, creating a dangerous hub just across the Mediterranean from Europe. The reported presence of 2,000 ISIS militants in Libya at the time alarmed regional and Western powers. These fighters, a mix of local recruits, foreign jihadists, and defectors from other factions, were entrenched in training camps and urban hideouts, particularly around Sirte. Their numbers, though estimates varied, signaled Libya's emergence as a fallback for ISIS after losses in the Middle East. The group's propaganda boasted of Libya as a new frontier, aiming to destabilize the region and disrupt oil exports, a lifeline for Libya's economy. Misrata's militias, backed by international support, responded with fierce counteroffensives, eventually recapturing Sirte by late 2016, but not without heavy casualties. This checkpoint attack was more than a skirmish. It was a stark reminder of ISIS's adaptability and enduring menace. It exposed the challenges of securing Libya's vast desert expanses and the need for unified action against a fragmented but resilient enemy. In a relentless global campaign to crush ISIS, world powers unleashed devastating airstrikes on the terrorist group's strongholds in Syria, each driven by vengeance and strategy. Russia, enraged by ISIS's 2015 claim of bombing a Russian passenger plane over Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, killing 224 people, launched a ferocious air campaign targeting ISIS positions in Syria. Moscow's warplanes pounded command centers and supply lines, signaling a brutal escalation. Meanwhile, France, reeling from the horrific 2015 Paris attacks that claimed 130 lives, struck back with precision airstrikes on Raqqa, ISIS's self-proclaimed capital, hitting training camps and weapon depots. The United States, a key player in the coalition, intensified its combat missions, releasing gripping footage of airstrikes obliterating ISIS fuel tankers, crucial to the group's illicit oil trade. These coordinated strikes crippled ISIS's infrastructure, disrupted its finances, and sent a clear message: the world's resolve against terror was unyielding. The mission in Syria to dismantle ISIS was a complex, high-stakes campaign blending air power, artillery, and ground operations to reclaim territory and crush a fanatical enemy. At its heart was the battle for Raqqa, ISIS's de facto capital, where coalition forces, led by the United States, supported Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, with relentless firepower. Airstrikes rained down on Raqqa, targeting ISIS strongholds with pinpoint accuracy, while artillery units unleashed a barrage of missiles to pulverize defensive positions, bunkers, tunnels, and sniper nests built to defy assault. These barrages were often indiscriminate, leveling entire areas to weaken ISIS's grip, though at a heavy cost to civilian infrastructure. The coalition's strategy relied on overwhelming force, US-led airstrikes, supplemented by French and British jets, coordinated with SDF ground advances to encircle and isolate ISIS fighters. Artillery, including HIMARS rocket systems, delivered devastating strikes, obliterating fortified positions and supply caches. This grueling campaign, peaking in 2016 to 2017, faced fierce resistance from ISIS, who used human shields and booby traps to slow the advance. Yet, the mission's success in liberating Raqqa by October 2017 dealt a crushing blow to ISIS's territorial ambitions. Though the scars of war left the city in ruins, and the ideological threat far from extinguished. In a bold display of military might, Russia unleashed a barrage of 26 cruise missiles in October 2015, striking 11 ISIS targets deep in Syria's war-torn landscape. Launched from warships in the Caspian Sea, over 1,500 kilometers away, these precision-guided missiles obliterated ISIS command posts, weapon depots, and training camps, showcasing Russia's long-range firepower. The Russian Minister of Defense, Sergei Shoigu, declared the strikes surgically precise, insisting no civilian infrastructure was harmed, a claim met with skepticism amid Syria's chaotic battleground. This operation, sparked by ISIS's downing of a Russian passenger plane, marked Moscow's aggressive entry into the anti-ISIS campaign, bolstering its ally, the Assad regime, while sending a chilling message to terrorists and rivals alike. He looks older, but contrary to reports, he is not sick. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi wants to show the world not only that he's alive, but also that he is still fighting what he calls the Crusaders. It's not clear whether he is in Syria, Iraq, or elsewhere.